Hello, welcome back to Zeke's Garage. It's a good day. We're back on the 46. It's been, geez, a couple of months that we've been waylaid on wheels and tires, and I've been fighting backspacing and bolt pattern problems and all kinds of stuff. Say hi to everybody, Mallory. But we finally got it sorted out, and I've got some wheels and tires bought here. Matt's here today to help out. But yeah, we got some wheels and tires on this thing. She's 5 on 4 3/4 bolt pattern. We're having problems with our tack welds. But, Krager lookalikes. I think I'm gonna like that 24-inch tire in that wheel well. So we're gonna sort out a few things. We gotta move our shackle. We gotta fix our tack welds. So let's get on that. So I'm working on the frame extensions for the 46 out on the front. I've cut off 3 inches of 2x4 channel. The frame up there is 2x3, and it's a C channel, so I'm going to cut the back out of these, and then I'm going to cut it in half and take an inch out of it and weld it back together. That's the plan. Frame extensions are going on. Amazing. Way better. Our axle centered on our mark on the frame now. Our frame's extended. It's over here doing the welding. He's better at it than I am. Good morning, welcome to another Saturday. Project today is the 46. We need to try to get some steering on that, and I'd really love to get the old bed off the 39 sitting on it today. That guy's loose and just sitting there, but we got to make this thing roller before we can push it forward and set that on it. We got Kyle here, and Matt's due sometime here. Getting that guy out of bed sometimes is a chore. So anyway, goals for today. I've always worried about this a little bit. You can see where the cotter key goes in the spindle there, and it doesn't line up on the castle nut. So we've got some spacing issues. I don't know if it's in the bearings or what's going on, but I'd like to maybe get to the bottom of that, so a cotter key would hold that in place. And then I bought this new steering arm, and why this doesn't come with the axle kit, I'll never know, because you absolutely need this. Thanks, Speedway Motors. So that was an additional 60 bucks, I think it was. But it's got to go right here and stick out this way, so this guy can hook on it and steer the axle. Is how all that's going to work. So I think we need to tear it apart and put these on the bottom side of the spindle and maybe push them forward or maybe still backwards, I don't know, but we got to get them to clear the spring. And like I said, we got to fix the spacing because this side's the same too on the castle nut. So those are the immediate goals. We got Mallory here, if you can see her way out there. Wave, Mallory. Anyway, we'll get busy. Matt made it. Nice shirt, dude.
Sleeping Beauty.
America. Look at that shirt. Yeah, Sleeping Beauty.
You finally showed up, Sleeping Beauty.
Anyway, update. We've got the steering all mocked up. We put the arms forward. There's a little spacer that sits right here that'll get us up over the spring. Yeah, we're looking good. This side's a little more complicated, but solved. Our A bracket's on here. I've got a ball stud coming for this guy. It'll hook right up and just hook us right back up to the steering. And then, yeah, again, another spacer here, up over the spring for the cross arm. Steering issues solved. That's been a week worth of research there, so that's good to see. Moving on to some welding. Like I said in the last episode, Matt's our welder. He's even, look at this, he's even cleaning things up. Yeah. Getting things ready to go. Thanks for that.
No problem.
So he's gonna do another pass on our frame extension, weld our perches, our shackle brackets. We'll just kind of go around to keep things from warping.
Yeah, there's one.
Lots of welding. So we'll
That's how it is sometimes.
right. It's the world we live in. We'll get on with all of that. Okay, we've got her back together as far as we can get her, and she's sitting on its own weight. What do you think about that stance? Guess it don't matter what you guys think, it's what I think, right? Yep, I'm gonna be like that. Sorry, it's my project. But there it is. First look, sitting down how it's going to. We even dialed the steering in where the toe's correct, or close enough for now. But with the 31s in the back, and the little skinnies in the front, it's looking pretty good. It's sitting on its own way. I think we're gonna move the shackle a little bit because we've got a little bit more angle than I like there, and they're not fully welded yet, so we're gonna move them back to where they're almost vertical, but not quite. And but it's lunchtime and it's hot, so we'll get back on this later. Let's just go on.
Oh, look at that. That looks awesome.
You need to take your side up, Carl.
Yeah, my side needs to go.
So your width of your the width of your frame.
Yeah, that is sitting right. From 46 to 39 to 46.
Well, this was a
And this was a dump
like
bed.
10 and a half, so.
But it's gonna be some make it work. But yeah. Look at it.
Map. Go the other way.
Does it have to go that way? It's good.
Look here.
It's on there now. We'll deal with it.
See, use that as a guide.
Yeah.
So this way, right about there.
About there,
The
right?
thing was, you were
Yeah.
filter, and so you didn't land on it.
You wanted a little.
What do you think, Colin? Does the truck look cool? Yeah.
Okay, we can put it back in. It doesn't take much to put it back in. Wait, we need to put some air in these tires.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're kind of flat.
That axle
You
couldn't
wanna
be in
slide
a
this?
better spot.
Yeah, it's
Welcome back. It's Wednesday, midweek here. Figured I'd better get something done on this 46. Cooled off the shop a little bit. It was 115 degrees when I opened this door. It's showing about 105 now, which isn't terrible, but still hotter than I like. But much rather be cold than hot. Can always put more clothes on, right? You take so many off, you're offending the neighbors. Anyway, gonna get on this front end. I got some parts from Speedway today. Got the spacers for the, so it turns out that the front axle was drilled for the castle nut cotter key too far out, because everything else is assembled on that wheel correctly. So I'm just gonna put washers on there so it'll space out the castle nut to the point where I can put a cotter key on it, and the thing won't back off and we won't lose the front wheel. So I'm gonna get that done tonight. Driver's side just needs the spacers. The passenger side, I need to pull the whole hub off, replace the wheel seal, and then do the spacer thing. So gonna get that done, and we'll go from there. All right, so direct from Speedway. There's the part number. It's the spindle nut kit. These are the washers I need to space that guy. Show you what I got going on here so you understand. Not enough room is what I got going on. But anyway, you see the cotter keyhole, and then you see the castle nut. It don't quite work if you put a cotter key in there. That castle nut's gonna do its thing, so I gotta space this out with more washers. So let's do that. Alright, so here's hoping 3 is enough. I bought 3 kits, so they come with 2 washers a piece, 3 for each side. So I'm gonna add 3 to this side. Let's see what I get here when I tighten this nut back up to how I feel it should be. Well, so far we're looking alright. Big old wrench here. Doing this without the caliper, but looks like we're gonna be alright here. I'll snug it to where I can see the hole straight down. Let's just be right there. Alright, 3's gonna get her. Well, that's good because that's all the stuff I bought. Okay, passenger side is off. Pieces right there. I've got the hub over here. Here's the new seal, sorry. There's the part number. This is pretty much just for me for future reference. I'm gonna put that in there and put the washers back on the side. Alright. This thing installed. Seal goes like that. I'm a steel hammer kind of guy on doing these guys instead of like a dead blow. I'll show you why here in a second. When I know it's seated, I get a good tone out of it. So I go all the way around it, and I know this guy's seated. Dead blow, he can't do that, so claw hammer or ball peen hammer for the win. Okay, we'll reassemble this guy. There we go. Bearing. And then 4 washers, which is crazy. 2, I always do my wheel bearings by feel, always have. Nothing will change that. That's something I've taught Matt, and my dad taught me. So you just get a feel for how tight that bearing should be. We're good, and I can get my cotter key in. So we're gonna do this. On this side I have to put my caliper back on. Hadn't done all that stuff because I knew this guy needed a seal. It was all coming back off. Okay, there we go. Alright, right now I'm busy changing out this ridiculous looking stud for a regular 5/8 bolts on the steering arms here. So we're just gonna put this guy on there. Okay, next order of business is to install the steering ball in the arm here so we can hook the drag link up to it and hook this all back to the steering column. Like that. Pop this guy on there and put a knot on it. Hopefully that's simple. Well, nothing's ever easy, right? I'm sure you guys have the same look. This ball is too small for the hole here, so we're gonna remedy that by I'm just gonna have to, I gotta have this thing mobile by next weekend, and I don't have time to mess with classic parts and speedway motors again, so I'm gonna weld that in there. Alright, the old Miller welder comes in handy again. I don't see anything wrong with that. Should do the job. She's hot, but we'll go put her back on. Okay, the arm is back on. I welded the ball to it. Here's the drag link to the pitman arm. We do need to tighten this guy back up. We'll tighten that. Sorry about the light in here, but that's just the nut on the gearbox. I did tighten this guy up, put a cotter key in it, so it's good. But now when you turn the wheels, the steering wheel turns. That's awesome.
Hey, it's any noisy here.
Alright, the wife and I sat and worked on this bed. Got it all squared up on the frame to where I can I'm just gonna stitch it on for now. Just a couple of tack welds. Got a parade next weekend that this truck's gonna be in, so temporarily I'm gonna stick it on there with the welder, and then we're gonna build the body mounts and do it right later on. But for now, I want to just kind of weld it down so I can work on these fenders a little bit, get some of the dents out of them. We're gonna hit this with a pressure washer and maybe even spray it flat black so it matches the fenders up front. So, but as soon as I got ready to do all this, I run out of wire in the old wire feed. That's how it usually goes, right? So, quick trip to the home store, back with $100 worth of wire. I'm gonna get this thing back together and we're gonna stitch this bed on. Okay, with any luck here, We will soon see the wire. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Come on, baby. There we go. Sweet. I'll get a tip on it. We'll get back to welding. Right, bed is welded on and passes the lift and push test, wiggles the whole truck, so we're good. So my next step here is I'm gonna trim these rotten fenders off. These used to tie into the half-ton running boards. Well, there's a ton and a half. They ended here because I had a flatbed, so I'm just gonna trim those at the top of that line. I think it'll look better and it'll match the height of this step. I think all around it'll give it a good look, and then I won't have to repair all of this and worry about the steps. So let's get going on that. Okay, those fenders are trimmed on both sides. I'll show you the other side. Right there. I left a little bit of the bell in it so I could cut and tuck some underneath later on when we decide to paint this thing. Just finished removing all of the wood out of here. Had to pry it all out from the little underneath and stuff, but that's good. This bed's on there now, so it's time to move on to sorting this front out. Let me show you what I'm gonna do to it here. I gotta, so everything's welded except for the shackle hangers, and I've got to move this shackle to where the spring eye is level with, sorry, let me get you in frame. I've got to move the shackle hanger back to where the spring eye is centered on this line here. So I've got to cut the tack welds, support this with the jack it up, move that back, weld her back on. So that's going on right now. Okay, I have it cut off and repositioned. I've tapped it back. My square here is telling me that that's where we need to be. See how I'm doing that? Down my line on the frame, and then in the center of both of these eyelets there. So I think we're ready to weld this one. Okay, I've got a couple of really good tacks on there. Now I'm gonna disassemble this and get my bushings out of the way so I don't melt them. And then I'm gonna burn that all on. Okay, here she is, back down on her wheels. I really like that shackle being more straight, a little kick back, but not much. Way better. We should have that on both sides now. Yep. About dead even, so that means I do good work, right? At least I can say that for myself. The rest of you may have a different opinion, but I think I do good work. Anyway, moving on to the next. I'm on the rear end now. Alright, we can do this one. You know me, I'm a list guy. Okay, she's up in the air. Got her supported. Yeah, it's not just sitting on the jack. The jack's just there because it keeps it out of the way. I've got some wheel cylinders that I'm gonna do. So it has a 10 bolt under an 86, from an 86 Blazer right now. Because that's all I really had laying around, and I was trying to find a front end that would match, but I couldn't find anything, so I ended up buying that Speedway gasser axle that has a 5 on 4 3/4 pattern. So this rear end will give way to probably a Dana 60 with a custom 5 on 4 3/4 bolt pattern. But for now, and that'll be stage 2 when we get it all shined up, painted for a show truck, swap the V8 and the automatic in it. But for now, this guy's gonna, this 10 bolt's gonna stay under here, so. And I gotta get the brakes working on this thing and make it reliable. So I've got some wheel cylinders that we're gonna put in this thing today. So I'm gonna pull the drum, change the wheel cylinder out. I still have to weld the perches. I've got my drive line on a pretty good happy angle. So I'm gonna weld the perches up and change the wheel cylinders, and then I'm gonna try to get some of this dent out. Get a dead blow back in there, hammer and a dolly, whatever. See if I can make that just a little bit more presentable. And yeah, that's what I'm playing with now. Alright, I pulled the drum and I wire brushed the spiders and snakes and stuff out of this thing. Still got some in here. Anyway, this axle's been sitting for a hot minute. But I'm not the best with drum brakes, so the first thing I'm going to do is take a picture with my cell phone of this thing so I can reproduce the craziness going on in here. Because I'm sure to get that wheel cylinder out, I'm going to have to take her all the way down, which sucks, but them's the brakes, so brakes, get it. Anyway, here we go. Okay, with minimal teardown of the drum brake, I have the wheel cylinder out. And the new ones right here. The old spreader things are cleaned up. And we'll get to putting that thing back in. Alright, this side is done. It's about 1 o'clock. Which means my fan is on because it's 90 degrees here already. Moving on to the next side. So the brakes are all done. Got them all buttoned up. Those wheel cylinders changed out. So we'll move on to the next step. Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's Saturday morning. This is the Saturday before the parade. We got one more week on this truck, but pretty much got it where we're gonna need it for the parade here. So gonna weld the perches on the rear end today. Got my welder extraordinaire here. And I'm just gonna zip the U-bolts off, weld that all up, and put the U-bolts back on it, throw some tires on it, and maybe even drive this thing out front and pressure wash it today. That'd be nice. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get going on that.
Oh man, that hurt.
What, in your ear?
Yeah.
Why does it always find your ear? Okay, perches are welded up. Tires are back on it. Both sides. See, back in the shop a ways where we can close the door on it. Looking good. We managed to get a little bit of this dent out. It was pushed way in here, and some you know, dead blow and ball peen work. That dent's looking better, and this dent here too, not near as bad. We will have to pull them off and do body work on it, but I'm just thinking for the parade, if we can spiff it up a little bit, sand this guy a little bit and shoot it black, it'll be good looking as we can make it for the parade in a week. So that's on the agenda now. So Kyle's gonna do a little bit of sanding on it here. He just showed up. He's itching to do something on the truck, so gonna let him sand a little bit. It's 110 degrees in the shop right now. Yeah, I'm about cooked. I'm about done. I might go in and work on a video, but I'll let him sand, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, sanding. I'm not gonna be like Robbie Layton and make you watch us sand, but I'll show you that Kyle's actually doing it here.
Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it out front and pressure wash it off, since it's been a long time since it's had a bath.
And it needs what?
It definitely needs one.
Definitely
Here
needs
it is
one.
running.
Sitting here saying, let's go for a ride.
Yeah.
I got the AC turned on.
Yep, AC's ready to go.
Because, you know, it's freaking 98 degrees out here in the shop. Okay.
And it's purring, sitting here purring like a kitten.
Here we go. Here goes nothing. No brakes still. So this is no brakes. Okay, get your kick rod out. Still have dead things and twigs and stuff hanging from the... We might need the pressure washer to...
I have to go get it. Hey, big helper, you washing the truck? Where are you going? Where'd you go? Yeah. There you are. Oh, big helper, good job. Making it nice and shiny. Yeah, look at you go.
Okay,